In Parshas Chayei Sara, the Torah spends a considerable amount of time, amount of space, which is amount of psukim, verses, speaking about the journey of Eliezer, the servant of Avram. Eliezer is charged by his master, by Avraham, to go back to his place of birth, back to his family, and to find a wife for his son Yitzchak from his family. And so Eliezer realizes that this is going to be a difficult task, but nevertheless promises to his master, promises to Avraham that he will not bring Yitzchak back to where he came from, but he will bring the wife to be back to Eretz Yisrael, back to the land of Israel, to be together with Avram's family. And he goes off on his mission, and Eliezer comes to the city of Haran, and as he enters the city, he goes to the well, where he finds all of the young girls who are getting water, and he sees that there's one particular young girl, Rivka, that the water is rising to her, and he sees it as a sign. He runs over to her and wants to confirm that she's indeed a Balas Chesed, that she's indeed someone who is of extreme kindness, and she gives him water from her jug, and then she ends up giving to drink as well all of his camels. He takes out a ring, he gives her a ring, and then he goes back with her to her home to meet her family. As soon as her brother, Lavan, sees the ring on his sister's finger, he decides to run out to Eliezer and welcome him into the house. And immediately our first encounter with Lavan is one in which he's not concerned about the individual finding a place to stay and feeling comfortable and feeling warm, but he's concerned that by seeing the jewels that he already was given to his sister, that maybe this individual, maybe Eliezer, has more jewels, and he wants to find a way to get all that he has. So Lavan approaches Eliezer and he says, listen, why are you standing outside? Come into the house. Va'anochi pinisi abayis, I've cleaned the house. The Medrash explains to us, what did he mean that he cleaned the house? It's not that he made space for Eliezer to sleep, but he cleaned the house, Medrash says, me'avodah zara, from idol worship. Lavan knew where Eliezer was coming from. He knew that Eliezer was the servant of Avraham, and he knew that Avraham represented monotheism. Avraham was the antithesis of idol worship. So he knew Eliezer would never feel comfortable being in his house with idols being there. So he cleared out his idols. Rav Yosef Horovitz explains as follows and says, look at what Lavan was. He was a person who was willing to give up on his belief system. He was willing to give up on his gods, on these idols, just because he wanted to become wealthy, just because he wanted to connive and he wanted to trick and eventually to steal Eliezer's money. It was all because he heard that Eliezer was rich that he took all of the idols out of his home. It was that simple for Lavan, in the face of riches, in the face of money, to just give up on everything that he believed in. It's a lesson for us in our lives to think about the difficult circumstances that at times arise in our own lives, where we are put in a situation in which we have to be very honest to ourselves about what it is that we encounter and what it is that we do. There are times where we may be challenged as far as our own level of religiosity, when we are challenged by the potential of, for example, being able to make an exceptional benefit for doing something that may in some form violate our belief system. The lesson that we learn from Lavan is quite the opposite, is that we as individuals have to have a belief system that's strong. And we have to make sure that religion is not something that we just talk about, but that it's something that we're always comfortable and believe in, practicing at all times, but not only at all times, that we're comfortable practicing in real time at any cost, even if it means that we potentially lose out on the big game, because we believe that God, Judaism, and Torah comes absolutely first in our life before anything else that we can possibly gain. Let us be zocheh to learn this message from the Lavan Harasha and make sure that we never sell our morals, our ethics, and our religion for anything else. Thank you for listening and have a good Shabbos.